Okay, microphone's on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the September 22nd meeting of the Merrimack, New Hampshire Trustees of Trust Funds. As usual, we open with introductions. I'm Chris Christensen, and to my right is,
Bill Wilkes, trustee.
to my left,
Liz Petrides, trustee.
and
Adam Britton, Finance Director for the town.
thank you very much, everybody. First order of business is the minutes of August 19th. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 18th. 16th or 19th?
It says 19th here.
It says 18th on the agenda. Hold on.
Well, let's take a look.
It was August,
18th.
okay, August 18th as written.
Second.
Any discussion, any corrections or omissions? Let me just correct here. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
300. So portfolio review. Annual reports and auditors. I guess the first item comes from Adam. Do we have anything from the auditors? Are they all excited about anything that we need to know about?
No, not that I know of. I'm not sure if I have to go back and check. I know we had a special audit, but I'm not sure if it was on the trust. Is there normally an audit for the trust funds?
They
Every
audit
year.
our stuff, but usually they don't look at it very hard because the bank actually prepares most of the reports. They go to the state DRA reviews them. So by the time the
Okay.
auditors get to them, there's
already
been 4 sets of eyes
True.
in the
Yeah.
first place. So
That makes sense. So yeah, I don't think there was anything to report on that. Yeah, we went through our annual audit and everything came out clean, no adjustments necessary. So I think we're good. But I'll check just to double make sure. Thanks.
okay, and we are scheduled to have the Cambridge Trust folks come to us on our November meeting. I think it's the 17th. And I don't have anything else on the actual portfolio. We noticed, and I think everybody got the email. I'm never sure who gets emails and who doesn't, but Eastern Bank is merging with Cambridge Trust, or doing a stock swap. Apparently, according to the emails, nothing's going to change, except maybe the name on the paycheck you get if you work for Cambridge Trust.
I've been involved in about 3 or 4 acquisitions in my life, fairly large companies. And they always say nothing's gonna change. And then about a month or 2 later, things start changing.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not negative on the acquisition by Eastern Bank. I think we're just gonna have to monitor it. I mean, obviously, it was just announced this week, so we should monitor it and, see how it goes and see if it has any effect on us. I mean,
well, certainly we should be thinking in terms of watching for a time if we want to go through and invite proposals from other management companies. But it appears the officers and everybody else we deal with are staying in place, at least for now.
How long is our contract with them? I assume it's a contract that we have.
Well, it's undated.
Okay.
We have an agreement as to what they will do and the fees
no
they will
end date.
charge and so forth.
Okay.
Over time, I could see that they might want to try and increase the fees, but since the corpus upon which fees are based continues to grow, their income continues to grow in parallel. So we're really doing pretty good. They only charge us 25 basis points for the capital reserve funds and the scholarship funds, and 70 basis points for the equity portfolio, which is pretty good, considering all the extra work they do in terms of reporting and dealing with the state and all of those kinds of things that nobody else wanted to touch. Closest, well, I won't say the closest. We got proposals from 15, 16 different management companies at one point in time. And 3 or 4 got interviews. And some of them said, well, we won't charge you much for the management, but we want $4,500 on a variable rate to do the reports. And that somehow didn't set very well with anybody. So, and the other thing you get is a lot of the people or the companies that, oh, we do wealth management. And what they really do is they sell mutual funds. So it's not a widely spread set of competitors that do the type of stuff we need. Anything else on that topic? Okay, on the scholarship funds, we have a couple of issues here, and I think I passed out an email. I've been corresponding with Cambridge Trust on 2 issues. One is the Watson Scholarship for the Lego Fund, or Lego League. And we've accumulated some money in that fund because the school stopped running the program during COVID. And they are looking back at starting it back up. But every year we get $1,000 from the Watson Foundation, specifically for the Lego League. And we had historically been just spending the $1,000 in and out. But because of that lapse in the program, we have about $3,000 accumulated plus whatever earnings that would make for the 3 years. And presumably we would get another $1,000 in December, same as every year. So the thought process is to set up a separate fund rather than just lumping it into the Watson Scholarship Fund, because the requests for funds when we've done it, if you look at that spreadsheet I gave you, the funds, $1,000 isn't always enough. The prices have gone up, the participation has gone up, and there's a price per team of participants. So it seemed to make sense to make that out separately. But we need a directive from the trustees to give it to Cambridge Trust for them to actually do that. And the numbers that I gave there, there was the $3,000 that we've had for the last 3 years, plus an estimated earnings at, I think I used 3%. It's really, I think 2.74% over the 3 years. So the final calculation would have to be made on the books of Cambridge Trust. But I would take a motion to activate that if you wish, or discuss it, or not do it at all.
I'm comfortable with it. I mean, we talked about this last meeting, right?
Right, we didn't do anything concrete.
Yeah, I thought we did, but I'll make a motion to transfer, is it the $2,975 into a separate fund? We need to,
Yeah, I'm not sure why they
Clarify.
came up with that in the email, because we have checks $1,000 a year. So in my mind,
Should
it
we
should have
round
been
up to 3,000?
3,000
Is it the,
plus earnings.
yeah. So is that not the right number? Do we need to go back to Cambridge Trust?
Well, we'll do that based on whatever motion we make today.
So do you want to make a motion for the 3,000 even?
That would be my
Okay,
choice. Plus accumulated income.
okay. I'll make a motion to transfer $3,000 plus accumulated income from the, is it the Watson Scholarship Fund?
Lego League.
Lego League Fund? Or is it the Lego League Scholarship Fund? Let me start over. I'll make a motion to transfer $3,000 plus accumulated income from the Lego League into a separate fund.
And what is the name of that fund gonna be? We don't know.
Just Lego League fund.
So we're gonna have,
She said we're transferring from the Lego League.
right,
Well, what we have right now is lumped all into the Watson Scholarship Fund.
So it's
So,
really coming out
from
of the Watson
Watson.
Scholarship Fund into a
Going into the
new fund.
Watson Lego League. Watson should be on there.
okay.
Watson Lego League Fund.
Watson Lego League to just Lego League.
No, from Watson Scholarship to
To
Watson Lego League.
Okay. All right, let me start again. I'll make a motion to move or transfer $3,000 plus accumulated income from the Watson Scholarship Fund to the Watson Lego League Fund. A newly created Watson Lego League Fund. Do you need to say that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Second,
Any other discussion, changes? Adam, do you need any kind of an update?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
300. Now, as you can see from that email, some years ago, we took money out of the generic scholarship fund. There's 3 scholarships involved, and moved it into the principal fund. So, because the scholarship income side was pretty small and it wasn't growing, it wasn't doing anything. So we put $7,800, I think, into principal for a period of time so it would grow a little bit faster. And so it's now time, I think, to move that back onto the income side and bring that $9,200 back into income. So where now there's enough funding there to grow a little bit more and allow greater scholarship fund disbursements if we decide to do that, or if the donors decide to do that. They still have their fingers in it.
So do we need to make any motion today, or are we waiting?
Yeah, just to move the money back plus accumulated income. And the dollar amount is in that,
The 9278.83.
And that's going back,
the income side of the scholarship funds.
okay,
So I think the motion just be the principal, 70,
40487.
I thought you said you wanted the principal
plus
plus the income.
plus accumulated income.
So that would be the 9278.
Yeah, that might vary a little bit depending upon the actual date
Okay,
of the transaction.
So we can specify the guess
7404
plus
plus.
income. Okay.
And I missed it. You make the motion?
I'll make a
Bill?
motion to move it back, 9278 and 83 cents.
No, let's make it for the 7404
Plus income.
plus income.
Okay, motion that we make it for $7,404.87 back to the income fund,
Yep.
scholarship income fund,
Plus income though.
plus accumulated
Okay,
income, interest.
sounds good. Accumulated income,
Income.
because there's some capital gains in there too. Okay. Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 300. Moving on. Not much correspondence this week. We do have a bill from Last Rest Cemetery for $13,271.34.
And what constitutes that bill? Is that
That's-
the annual?
Perpetual care annual fund. It's a little bit earlier in the year than normal, although they're always a year behind. We're gonna have a per grave breakdown. You can take a look if you like. It's a little bit less this year than it was last year, and the price varies from year to year depending upon how many inches of rainfall and how many times they have to cut the grass.
You'd think it'd be higher this, well, okay, it's last year we didn't
We're
get
we're a
rain.
year
Next
behind.
year we'll get
Yeah.
rain.
You can show that to Liz if she's never seen it before. I'd make a motion, we pay the invoice to the Last Rest Cemetery for $13,271.34 for annual perpetual care.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 300. Wow. Future meetings. October 13th. Is that acceptable to everybody?
It works for me. It seems a little bit close to this meeting, but do we want to do it? Is it necessary?
Well, we usually use that as a preparatory meeting for the November get together with Cambridge Trust. So it gives us a chance to pick apart the things we want to discuss. And I don't know that it's going to be a long meeting, but
It works for me. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm good with it.
okay. So we'll do that. And then the next one would be November 17th with Cambridge Trust. I've talked to them. They're okay with that. That is the Friday before Thanksgiving week. I don't know if that makes any difference to anybody, but
Yeah, that works for
I
me.
just note it as a matter of interest.
Works for me.
17th's okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring my daughter's golden retriever in that I'll be babysitting?
Sure. Daisy used to come to meetings, not these meetings, but town council meetings, planning board. Other business, we talked just briefly about we got an email about the open house, October 3rd, 4 to 6 p.m. And new quarters at, they moved from the second floor to the fourth floor and I think taking more space.
I can't give you an answer today, but it's a possibility.
Okay, we'll keep in touch. Liz has other things going on, so, it's not a mandatory kind of thing, but the other things that we've done with them, they treat everybody pretty well. And brings us to the second item that's coming up, which is their merger with Eastern Bank Shares, which I guess happens 3 days ago, September 19th.
Well, it was announced, but I don't think
Well,
it
yeah,
won't
okay.
close for a long time. The regulators have to do their thing and all that, so I don't think they had a date for expected closing. They usually say, well, maybe by April of 2024 or something like that, right?
Yeah, I didn't see anything like
It's never
that.
pinned down to a specific day, because they never know.
Well, the email so far, I think I forwarded, that was on one other question. Adam, you're not on the email list yet, I don't think. You don't have to be, but we try to keep you informed.
Yeah, definitely, I will be. I'd
Uh,
like to.
Do you get the holdover stuff from Tom's emails?
Yes.
All right, so if he got it, you should have gotten it through him. Or
Okay,
through
well,
the-
so I just got access.
Or
to his
through that
emails.
email account.
Yeah, I just got access a couple of days ago, so.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
check, I'll look. Who would it be from?
From Cambridge Trust.
From Cambridge Trust, okay.
Actually, in this case, the from might be from Lisa Tarango.
Okay.
She's our, the word they, or the phrase they use is, I want to say representative manager or something like that.
Relationship manager.
Relationship manager, thank you.
That's a new buzzword.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's coming up. At this point, it appears it won't impact us, but if we come up with some months from now and it has any changes, then we need to address those at that time and just be aware and perhaps we'll discuss that more in November when things have moved along a little bit and they'll know more about it than everybody knows today. And of course, as Bill mentions, the emails come out, but then nothing happens for a long time, and then something happens and nothing happens for a long time, and then all of a sudden,
Bank mergers.
things change.
Bank mergers typically take longer than, just a corporate type of merger between two companies that
Well, they have to go through FDIC.
Kellogg's
whatever other-
cereal and,
Yeah.
I don't know, some other food company.
So those are the only other issues that I have that weren't specifically on the agenda.
Motion to
Anybody
adjourn?
else have any?
I have one quick question.
Sure. Go.
So I know in this past town council meeting, and I'm new to this, so if they voted to approve capital reserve funds, does that go through the trust of trustees? Do I need to let you guys know? It was for road infrastructure to replace the,
We don't do much, we can't do anything about it.
no, I didn't know if that's something that y'all controlled, releasing those funds, or is it just the town council that releases?
No,
those?
town council, school board, or MVD commissioners are the ones with the authority to expend.
Oh, okay.
So when the fund is established, the money comes to us. Now, if it's just an additional amount in or out, then we usually get some money in December after most of the tax bills have been paid. And in June, we get a request for reimbursement. So you spend all that money out of working capital, and then we reimburse the working capital in June.
Okay.
So on various town council meetings throughout the year, somebody, DPW is the most common one, will come to the town council and say, we want an authorization for $322,000 to repair potholes. And town council approves it, spend it out of working capital. When the actual bill comes in, or the total comes in, then in June we reimburse the capital reserve fund and all of the others, and it usually comes to about $1.5 million to $2 million every June.
Gotcha. So they take the money out of the capital reserve fund because the town council approved it, but then they come back to you guys to ask for reimbursement. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
It's also good, though, for us to know kind of the ins and outs, because we try to maximize income, but we also are very cognizant and make sure that we don't tie up money and have to take a penalty or something to get the necessary funds that you need. So if, usually projections are given to us, we're going to need X amount of dollars, in 6 months or whatever it might be. And then we'll make sure that the people at Cambridge Trust are not investing things that'll be tied up, and
Gotcha.
we won't have the actual cash available when you need it.
Okay.
It's basically a matter of managing the ladder,
Okay.
maturity ladder. We have 3 different philosophies on capital reserve funds. The school district hardly uses them at all. They got an $85 million budget and less than $1 million in capital reserve funds, or about $1 million. The town has a $37 million budget, and $5 million in capital reserve funds. That's a nice ratio. MVD has a $5 million budget and a $5 million capital reserve fund. And probably $4 million in their working capital. They're a very cash-rich operation because they have emergencies that are real emergencies that don't necessarily happen to us as a town. When we have to buy a new fire truck, it's pretty much a scheduled item. But when they have a water main break or some other issue at a treatment facility, they have to be able to do it that day, so to speak.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the school just puts everything into the operating budget because they know they'll pass their budget.
Okay.
So a little bit of an irritation for us sometimes because the school, for example, knows in advance every 15 years we're going to have to replace this many square feet of roof. But they tend to put it into the operating budget rather than capital reserve funds.
Okay.
And they manage it pretty well. It's worked for them. So different approach, different philosophy. But for that reason, MVD, for example, gets a better return on their capital reserve funds from the town does because they're using as a savings account and expending less frequently, just emergencies or planned expenditures. The town puts money in and puts money out on a more working capital basis, so the maturities are different, and they make a couple of basis points less on the money.
Okay.
Anybody want to add anything to that? No, so if when we have our annual meetings, if you want to give us, our monthly meetings, if you want to give us an update on those things that have been voted on by the town council, that would be great.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Anybody else want to add anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So Adam, you come from Texas, is that?